Surely not. Okay, lock it in. And then what do they do on the other side, Lyric? Jinx, Aphelios, one of those. Like, surely you take away the Jinx, right? I mean, we can keep theory crafting because it's so straightforward now. Here comes Cassante. Cube loves it. Cube's a great Cassante.
Yeah, I think here you'd probably end up going Cassante. Then for Ultra Prime, like you're saying, you lock in one of the ADs. I would say Jinx, because again, Jinx typically does just fare better, but teams seem to prefer the Aphelios as more of a blind pickable champion in their minds. And then you have the question of, do you just outright pick the Annie, which I think makes a lot of sense, is having at least having your own strong blind, or do you now as Ultra Prime feel pressured to look for an answer in that top lane and, you know, not get banned out in the second phase? Because there's already been a ban thrown at top lane from the side of WE, and that could end up being 2 more if you go Aphelios plus Annie here.
I mean, yeah, look, if you do look topside, I mean, options still that Cassante's fine to go into. Jinx taken away from the Milio. We've got a Lulu that looks like SwordArt's going to be bringing in, but...
I do like this, though.
Please.
Because I feel like teams just typically go over the Jinx so much, and they're just like, nope, we're just going to take the Aphelios, and then you just leave the Jinx, and then you're just on the wrong side of that matchup. Even win rate wise, Jinx doing incredibly well in the LPL so far, sitting at 63%. Aphelios sitting at 35%. So hey, at least they went with the statistical and even matchup wise, like, better champion.
And you see the direction change in our meta as well. Just on one interesting note, we used to have a bit of Lucian Milio propping up, but we've just seen the value of Aphelios, and Hope especially, great Aphelios player. We're complimenting Doggo last game, or at least before we saw the game itself, and how his Aphelios has been in the past. But Hope has been one of the premier AD carries in the past couple of years, rising up in force, especially when he was on JDG. So WE, 3 very strong meta picks right now. We just got to see what goes with it, because now the Gwen's banned away, which is the one LPL answer into Cassante that consistently does well.
Yeah, Gwen off the table. I wonder if they'd opt into taking away the Jax as well. At least then you'd be left with just generic tank topside, which means W also could look to ban the Scion over the Jax if they're more like, hey, we're fine with you, like maybe having a slightly better laning phase. We just don't want your comp to be as well-rounded, because now with having this Enchanter down on the bot side, I think definitely coming through with the tank top laner for Hery would be the way to go to have a more cohesive team composition.
Yeah, well, Hery already played the Gragas last game around. Let's see if it comes around. Oh, sorry, that was Forge, actually, last time around. We saw Malphite, but to no avail from Hery up in the top side. We'll see if he shifts gears a little bit, as Silas was banned by Ultra Prime. Maybe against the Vi, I wanted to stop that one. With Ari getting taken away to strengthen that mid-jungle 2v2. Lyric. Maybe it's time to get rid of Shanks's. What do you get rid of? Do you get rid of that Annie? Do you need to?
Yeah, honestly, I think you do. I think it's just such a strong pivotal pick right now. We do need to remember, though, that Cassante is a flex. Shanks has also played it so far this split, so that one is always there. So I'm actually wondering if W will even opt into picking mid lane here, because again, you could just go for Annie, would be a very solid first 4 picks, or you look to take jungle and you keep the flex alive for the Cassante. And I mean, hell, you even still have things like that Wukong left open if they did want to go towards it. Viego, another one, which we've surprisingly been seeing Viego's priority rise a little bit, in terms of there are some games where either Vi or Wukong are left open, and some teams still opt into that Viego if they feel like they need some more damage in these skirmishes.
I feel like, again, though, as we talked about it before, the Annie just showing us so much of the strength of picks for WE. So we are going to see jungle left to last pick here, Lyric, and we are getting ourselves the Cassante up in the top lane confirmed. But what do Ultra Prime do with this information? We already talked about Hery picking a tank. As you said, you wanted to see a front line built up here for UP. But do they try and take something more competitive, as this was mid last game, so nothing confirmed yet?
Yeah, I feel like an ideal thing would have been, like, had you gone the Scion and then you go something strong in the mid lane that can contend with an Annie, like a Syndra. But not going to want to go for that. They're probably just going to finish this out. The one thing I'll say, despite still, again, a bunch of frontliners with the Jinx, at least this time they have the Jinx over the Aphelios, so again, the kind of better side of the matchup, and they have an Enchanter to make sure that Doggo is buffed up the later the game goes on. So I definitely feel like they've made some strong adaptations. The problem is, I feel like WE have like a top 2 pick in each role so far. Milio, the most coveted support with Yuumi. Cassante, the most coveted top laner. Annie, the second most picked mid laner after the Nico. Aphelios, like, I guess, second set of 80 carries after the Zeri's off the table. Seriously, W have, like, everything you would love to have in this meta, I guess, outside of jungle, but hell, they could have gone towards the Wukong. They already have good enough sustain in frontline, so ended up going with the Viego, get more damage, get more resets, set up for those fights better.
I mean, again, for WE, getting these picks is just through draft. We're already saying K'Sante and Milio just given over willy-nilly for the 5th pick. Ning, what can he do with this pick? What can he actually achieve here in this game is going to be the biggest question, because you've sacrificed so much to get so little. As you said, Ultra Prime, their bottom lane have an opportunity through the laning phase. We'll see how they go there, but Ultra Prime weren't able to get much done. No proactive nature from Ning, and I'd say the rest of the team in game number 1. Let's hope things change here, because UP were 2-0 coming into this, but WE may have their number as Incheon, they look to continue their win streak. And yes, I said win streak. It's been 2 games, it's been 2 individual games, 1 series, but hey, a win is a win as we get ready to drive onto Summoner's Rift yet again. And I have to say, WE were looking pretty clean in game number 1, apart from Heng missing some Q flashes. Everything else went pretty cool.
Yeah, WE looked, again, you said it best, they were just cruising. They were just able to chill in game 1. They were able to chill in their first series. Really haven't been pushed just yet. But hopefully with the small adaptations Ultra Prime had made, again, they should at least be set up a little bit better this time around. The place I'm afraid for them, once again, is the early game. What can they do? You don't have a lot of setup for your lanes. Just a bunch of CC, no real damage to be able to convert. So I'm afraid if WE get the ball rolling first, they just might be able to bring it home.
I always love Xiano. Xiano has the most heroic back thralls as well. Like, I'm not sure if we've had Terracotta Warriors there yet, which is their place, but a lot of beautiful structure. He's interrupting the joke. Ning. Oh, no. Just a bit of a trade.
Luckily, it happens early enough to where he will be able to recall, get back on the map, have that HP, you know, like not right before his camp spawned, which could have been a bit of awkward timing. So we've already hit on for Ultra Prime. I think when you look at lanes, like, can Ning gank for any of his lanes? Yeah, but not a whole ton of damage. You have tanky top laner in the K'Sante. It's going to be hard to take down. Maybe you can burn Annie Flash early, but as the game progresses, you really don't have the profile to really be able to threaten her all too much. And bot lane, it's probably just going to be all about giving Doggo and SwordArt vision and allowing them to play out through the laning phase and scale up to a point to where they're incredibly strong.
We got the Silent play in bottom lane, by the way. Spotted out by a ward, so W won't be falling for it. But speaking of vision, Ning is starting on a ward here up in the blue side lyrics. So they know that Hery gave the leash. We know that Ning is going to be up towards the top side of the map. And already, look at Heng. Heng is like, yeah, I can either find him and start a fight. Cameraman, take us there. Because Ning is just going to get invaded on. There's a smite available for Heng. He gets it. Ning, I would not fight this, especially not versus the Viego flood. Oh, he does an auto! Heng, why? He did an auto. Ning gets away with his life. Flash for flash.
He started the animation, right? Like, I wasn't seeing things. It looked like the auto animation started, canceled it, clicked back, and... even if not, I feel like a bit maybe overzealous from Heng to hope he can get it there, but hey, still a big win. Able to force Ning out of his own jungle. You even stole away a camp, so does have momentum going on WE's side to start off with.
Yeah,
also the mental victory.
God, that hurts. Let's watch again. Heng versus Ning. Close action.
Hey, at least it's not as bad as Kanavi invading Tarzan the other day and actually getting 1v1 himself, as we're going to see here. Goes through, Q comes out. Goes,
God, though.
You're right, it actually hurts worse the second time watching through. You feel bad for WE, despite the fact that they came out ahead in that play. Let's not let that deter us from the fact that Heng is still the winner.
He's having a slightly rough day. Again, I said in game number 1, a couple of Q flashes missed. That auto cancel as well, yeah, just hurts. Canceling it.
To kind of expand on that though, and you know, bring it to WE, like, when you looked at WE in spring, like, BUB was definitely the weak link of the roster in my eyes, and again, like, just kind of someone who was there to absorb pressure, but Heng was the other one you're really looking at. So inconsistent, had some great games where he just invaded and took over a game with his aggression, but also had some games where he kind of just went in, ran it down, and let's hope that's not happening here.
Level 4's hit, bit of health bar coming through as he wants to re-engage onto Ning. Got the health, the flash from Shanks. Mid-priority is a dream as now you have yourself a Q to get out, but Forge ain't gonna let him. Flash body slam, and it's a trade of junglers going down for first blood mirrored.
Yeah, I think for WE should be happy that Heng was able to get something because there we saw Ultra Prime's bot lane had Prio. They were moving over first. You were losing out in the 1v1. So the fact that Shanks managed to get there and they're able to convert and get one kill is a great sign for WE in a situation that looked a little bit tragic, but still a very close game so far coming out from Ultra Prime. Not getting run over in the early game. And we said, hey, you have this big Jinx. You're going to have all these meat shields later on. You will have a better time this game.
But let's just kind of look at what is being mirrored right now. I mean, Ning is going to get the scuttle topside to catch up on some CS, but triple longsword here for Heng. He's doing pretty well on this Viego despite what we've seen, despite the kill being traded across. Was able to pick up some gold on that as he spots out a ward in River. His camp's not available up towards the top side. It's bot that's waiting for him. But Ning has to traverse down that same angle as only two camps on opposite sides of the river stand. As Gravitum is going to make me pause. Hope is thinking about the route, but don't think it's up and available. Instead, it's just a good trade onto SwordArt.
Oh, even forcing Forge back. I also want to highlight is, let's see if Forge actually is walking away from this. A lot of trading in bot lane that, right, everyone talks about, okay, Jinx having the range over the Aphelios, but that's one of the things that the Melio does circumvent with that campfire, allowing him to have much better trade patterns in this lane. And so far, once again, Hope and Lwandy being able to keep to it in the 2v2. One, in exchange of the summoners being burnt with that Gravitum coming through. Cleanse, no longer a Doggo flash, not on SwordArt. Only Ghost used by Hope.
I mean, that's another summoner taken away. SwordArt using that flash earlier before 2 down here for Ultra Prime's bottom lane. Hope only with the Ghost, as mentioned. But Lwandy still has both of his. Now, WE, with that priority we've been seeing, not only was Heng able to steal away the Raptor camp, but also set himself up for the Dragon here, Lyric. Small gold lead still for them. The first objective bounty taken, or rather objective thereof. And things are looking good again, yet in the lanes we've seen today. Shanks and the rest of WE have just been pretty clean throughout the first 15 minutes of the game.
And this is even with them, like in bot lane, again, having a bit of a rougher time in the early levels because of the champions that come through, but still being able to keep pace. Cube winning out in top side. Shanks looks like keeping it about even. I believe lost some CS on the roam he made earlier on, so that's impacting his laning phase a little bit with how much action Heng has been wanting to find. Shanks trying to cover for that.
Multi's available for Forge. Shanks has Tibbers out. Tibbers gonna die. Forge gonna miss the ulti. Yeah, a modem. That's what you do. Is now Ning meets with a familiar fate. Oh no, it's the happy masked salesman. And Link has to get out of there before he smiles any further. That's, again, just more pressure coming through from Heng.
Yeah, WE doing a nice job of actually using the fact of like what happened in game 1, right? Like knowing, hey, we're coming out ahead. We have Prio. I was looking once again, Prio in top. Tibbers came out earlier on, which kind of gave the push over to Shanks. And especially the second the explosive cask just completely flops, that just gives you even more guarantee that you can look for this kind of invade. So 2 camps going to be stolen away. And I love that Hope and Lwandy are taking away the Scuttle Crab at the same time. Yep. It gives Ning even less options of what he can look for on the map.
How upset are you right now as Ning 20 CS down? Your topside taken. Wolf's going to be the only thing up and available. Herald's coming up in 20 seconds as well, and Lyric, Heng has hit level 6. So this guy's got Heartbreaker available. He's got himself probably close to his first item, or at least the makings of some serious components. Looking real good as ulti comes through. Cube looking for the 1v1. Ulti blocked out by Hery, but how you get away, Sion? The answer is you don't. You left open the Cassante, and you're here to rule the roost as Cube solo kills Hery up in the top side.
Q feeling good coming over to Team WE. We hit on it. This man has always been in the upper echelon of top laners in the LPL. Kind of being that gatekeeper up to the S tier, but always beating down on people who aren't rated as highly as him. Another one is...
Can you 1v1? No, you do need your mid laner. Herald's Eye's going to be hit. He gets it anyway. Heng gets the eye. But is he going to be able to pick it up? I mean, Ultra Prime are trying to zone him away, but guess what? More members are coming through. Ultra Prime need the backup.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that they didn't look for it. I mean, you had your Anin spy, I guess maybe afraid of Hery being able to potentially join up a little bit faster, but honestly, maybe even if someone like Diego goes down there, I don't know if that would really be the end of the world. Being able to use that to get some plates would have been nice. We're going to see here some nice trading to come out early on. Hery has no mana, gets the knockback, which sets up for the all-out to come through. Hery tries to ult away, but Cube does manage to block that one. And another Q coming through with the flash just seals the deal. But it was really that first knockback into the all-out, which allowed all of that to happen.
And it was still just a beautiful syncopation from Cube to line everything up. He's now almost got his first item as well. WE 2,000 gold up, and this time we're getting a bit more blood in the early game, but it's going WE's way as Herald was denied. And remember, folks, that even though the eye doesn't get picked up by Heng, that's still 300 gold. Ning lost 300 gold with the steal there, so Heng yet again gets a better gold trade, which is honestly where I think WE's sitting with the majority of their gold lead in this game, Lyric.
Oh, definitely. Definitely has to be in. I mean, it's in top jungle, right? Going to be in top jungle. Heng's been counter jungling so much, you can see in terms of CS top lane now having this lead, and W feeling confident off the back of it. We do have Tibbers up, which I feel like is the most crucial ability for WE.
Zap's going to be flashed away from Hope just without his team. Forge comes through. Explosive cast beautiful as well. They've caught out Heng. Heartbreaker out to the back line as well. The campfire heals him up and he's out as well in the end. Lwandy as well decides to pop up and cleanse that man away as split apart. WE are caught bare pants with Ultra Prime in the middle.
Quick thinking coming out from Ultra Prime, realizing with W trying to control the space, more aggressively moving up towards mid, it left Hope exposed and quickly capitalizing. It's small moments like that and capitalizations on mistakes like that, which is what's allowed the Ultra Prime to be a 2-0 team in the league so far.
Look, I mean, Ultra Prime, they needed a moment like this, at least to restore the faith to some of their fans, I'm sure. Forge getting a great ulti as well to separate. They might not kill Heng, but they disengage. Lyric, my only question now is, do they have enough ultis to look towards this dragon that's just spawned? Because we have no Forge, we have no Ning here. As Shanks dodges away, we'll have to see if their ultis being missed are going to hurt them in the upcoming engage.
I do gotta say though, I feel like WE's missing more crucial ultimates coming through with,
that is true.
You know, no Tibbers on the Annie. I wanted also not gonna have that melee ultimate to come through to where at least for Ultra Prime, you have Doggos and you have SwordArts. Oh, big flank from Q.
Yeah, but he's got Iceborne. Cube has no flash, but the all-out available TP from Hery on the other end. WE getting out of river away from Sion. Excuse me then. Ultra Prime got the bigger engage here, and they're just going to take their first dragon of the game, which is a win when the gold is going so far astray.
And I feel like when you look at this and how it ended up here, like the Tibbers and the Heartbreaker definitely feel like the catalyst for WE snowballing a fight out of control. So the fact that those just came up right now meant that it really left WE without as many options to be able to burst them out immediately, get the resets online, and take a fight the way they'd want. Ultra Prime feeling fine with the amount of consistent damage they would have had if a fight had broken out right there.
Doesn't in the end, and now as we come back to lane, things feel like they might slow down for a little bit longer. Herald not up for a little bit. It's 2 minutes until that spawns, and we are just fast approaching one item. And look, I say slow for the time being, Lyric, in terms of kills, but WE are keeping this pace. Blue buff stolen again. Hello, Wolves. Ning, those are not yours. Here's Shanks, gets the stun. Tibbers down. Stun up. Heartbreaker. Easy kill. This is their jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Ning just getting absolutely punished right now. Must feel like quite a shock, especially coming off the other day where, again, he was just getting the upper hand over FPX time and time again. But Heng really doing his best, especially having that Black Cleaver in that exchange. Just being all the difference in terms of damage to be able to find that kill.
No surprise, as another kill over to Shanks. Tip is going to drop yet again, but Shanks is in a fine lead here in this game. As Doggo and Hope are just battling it out, but first Severum with a cozy campfire of Phelios. Things seem a little bit harder to trade against that man, as Doggo went Kraken first, by the way. Item activation for Hope as he has Gale Force, Lyric. It feels like old times, you know, Kraken Jinx, Gale Force Aphelios, except at very different times, as that item is no longer a mythic.
Yeah, it's still, I was saying this, I think it was 2 days ago, that it still feels weird to me whenever you see both of them in like the same inventory. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it's the way it should work. But yeah, Hope can have, you know, a bit more mobility, a bit more burst, and especially with that execution at the end, to our Doggo already playing to need to be able to deal more ramping damage, right? That's the whole thing for Kraken Slayer. The bonus damage coming through when you do just hit the same target. So setting up for these big team fights later on, but they might not even get a chance to get there. I'm keeping my eyes on Rift Herald coming up in 30 seconds. Tibbers should be up around the same time, and I'd assume WE would love to try to get that objective for themselves.
But now, though, Ultra Prime had the mid push, so let's see what this priority does for them, because SwordArt has moved with him. Bot has been the shift around of Forge, who has TP available. Hery backing off as well, Lyric, but with ulti almost up. So Ultra Prime seems like they are gearing up for this 3-second spawn. I'm just going to wonder if Hery uses ult. Surely not to get to top lane. That would be foolish. As for now, we're just pushing it out, but Ultra Prime again. There's mid. They move up. Where's our jungler? Oh, Ning's in base because he needed Black Cleaver.
And you know, they still might be fine because with WE opting for Shanks to go bot, he's the member with no TP, right? Had the Cassante already been here, it'd be fine. You send Annie up towards top side, but they're realizing they can't go for it. They're going to look for the dive.
Ooh, Forge might be in a bit of trouble. The flash comes through, stun still there. The Heartbreaker and the damage enough. The chase potential just insane as Shanks gets kill number 3.
Oh.
Meanwhile, on the other part of the map where they don't have a jungler, Doggo almost dies. Stop giving Milio to teams. Honestly, the rage, insane.
The range coming through the Moonlight Vigil was expended a lot, being utilized by Ultra Prime there to survive with Doggo. Forge still going down. It's like, for WE, I wonder how much they're going to get done to the spot lane tier 2.
It's going to go down. The Herald team is like, okay, where do we put it? Ultra Prime not going to be here, so 2 turrets go down, plus the kill, plus now a 6,000 just about gold lead. Rocket's going to stop their back as we look at the play. This is what happened, Lyric. Oh my god. Just usual Aphelios things.
Yeah, but that was all on Doggo, right? Walking forward so aggressively, getting caught out, not expecting Hope to be able to come in, has Gale Force, has Moonlight Vigil. But Ultra Prime now, at least they answer back with 1 turret. Now it's about if they can utilize this Herald, actively push down another one. Doesn't seem like it with the fact that WE's main forces are going to make it back in time right now. But Dragon coming up in 30 seconds, right? We're going to see a lot of consequences of the last minute where Ultra Prime have blown a lot of flashes. Doggo, no flash now. Forge, no flash. No heal on SwordArt. A lot of vulnerable members.
Curious about that Tibbers ulti coming up here for Shanks. About 5-10 seconds left, so that will be there at level 11. As stun is now packed up, and Heng, Heartbreaker is up as well. Not level 11, but still a threat here as Ultra Prime aggressing onto this turret. They really want to force down mid, but this ain't the same Cube Zion from last game. Just to be careful of the damage sources, but still it's enough. Ultra Prime are able to bridge open that mid lane turret, get some of the gold back in their pocket as Dragon spawns here, Lyric. And they have themselves a bit of pressure that gets for the vision, but you're right, who's there?
Yeah, Cube, the giant bridge coming on through.
Oh my god, is he going to die though? Well, no, of course the answer's not there. Explosive cast, beautiful though, but Cube, as he flashes away, Hery zones out. Ning a little bit low after the trade. That was looking real good for Ultra Prime, but Ning is just 1 shot away all of a sudden.
I mean, had a Moonlight Vigil been thrown out, I don't know if it was like still just about to come up off cooldown. He would have been dead. I believe there was just a lot of damage coming out from people like Shanks with the Tibbers.
There's another one. Double grabbed him. No Cube. Goes in forward. Gets a flash out of Hery. Heng trying to pick an angle with that Heartbreaker still there with flash 2. Everyone into the cozy campfire. We've got marshmallows. As Ultra Prime are just zoning away with Doggo. The Jinx thing's happening with Forge. A mighty bit of zoning himself. And Lyric, even without a jungler, even with Ning having to go back to base, they get the dragon. They played the slow play.
And you see the difference the small adaptations make, right? Getting the Jinx over the Aphelios to give you a bit more wiggle room to play with when you're playing this sort of protect the carry composition, and getting an Enchanter down there in the bot lane to make sure that you have more damage on that singular carry to play with. The fact that Ardent Sensor was already picked up by SwordArt a few moments ago, and you have more attack speed and more on-hit damage coming out from that Jinx, is going to make all the world of difference when playing compositions of this style.
Well, for Ultra Prime, it's helped them claw back now to 4,000 gold the difference and an Infernal Soul. No! That's my blue buff all game long. Hung is like 3 out of 4 so far. As for Ultra Prime, trying to get the remnants of what's left on this side of the map that Hung has been living in. Now with a 40 CS lead to track it for you there. WE hovering around the top side. It's Baron in 1 minute 30, but you have to say this Viego has been a pain all game long. It just doesn't stop.
Honestly, if Ultra Prime make the comeback, we got to give some praise to Ning for not just mentally collapsing it and going like 0-20. Now, if he does go 0-20 and they still win, I don't know what we do in that situation. As we see here, Cube was hoping to find the flank, but CC galore coming through. How does Ning get so low, though? Yeah, okay, so a lot of that damage actually coming from the Cassante itself, then it looked like a bit followed up from the Aphelios. They do end up starting Drake, and we don't get the extended skirmish, but a lot of it was playing off with the zone from that rocket and just SwordArt continuously applying the shield to speed up, getting value out of that Ardent Sensor, allowing Doggo to even just play a bit more aggressively, and it didn't let WE get the Drake.
And I mean, good positioning from Doggo, who's had a bit of a rough day of it so far as well, I'll say. Wasn't able to show too much in game number 1, but as we fast approach this Baron, we'll keep our eyes on him yet again with the BF sword in hand. Baron's in 10 seconds here, and both 80 carries are 1.5 up. We don't have the second item, we don't have an advantage down there, so it's even odds, but we look towards other lanes. Right now, you're worried about people like Cube, who's 1.5 here with the Iceborne in a very strong favor. The Annie with the needlessly large there, Lyric, as well, with Luden's Tempest, so a hell of a lot of burst damage. But Jungle, who is 2 items up, Divine Sunder now picked up for Heng. I think even this Viego is going to be an issue for Ultra Prime to deal with.
Yeah, I love that you highlight these three, the three like top side members specifically in the Cassante, Viego, and Annie, because even though we're kind of building up that Ultra Prime have ended up with a better composition than game 1, there's still just so much that Doggo's going to have to worry about and position well and make sure that the others are playing around him well, because the burst from a Tibbers followed up with the Heartbreaker coming out from Heng, that might just be jinxed right there. Cube coming off on a flank with the all-out, like a lot of different things you have to worry about for Doggo. Luckily, they won in that last fight where he didn't have flash up, now does have both summoners online, so we'll have the ability to at least be a little bit more aggressive, live life on the edge a little bit more like the Doggo of old.
So has to be worried about Shanks, but as you said, that cleanses up, so that gives him a little bit more of that power. But I want to see when he gets that second item, is it going to be around this Baron? Because speaking of, while WE hover up here, Lyric, we got Dragon in 1 minute 30. So in this ever getting so slow game, we are approaching a 4th objective down on that bottom side with the purple worm staring us in the face. I just wonder, did WE give it up? Do they let Soul Point go over to Ultra Prime? Or do they say, no, we need to fight this? And Baron's left for the time being.
I feel like for WE, you're definitely in a position where you have the ability to fight. So I'm glad that Cube is already making his way down towards bot side, get this wave pushed out, and start getting the map in a state where you can actively and aggressively look for these plays. Hell, even look at the mini-map in terms of where WE has control wards in that bot side jungle. You might even be able to open up for Cube or Shanks to find a big flank once again. So I think WE definitely have the ability to look to contest, especially now. Death Cap picked up by Shanks. Gonna be dealing a ton of damage.
He's 1,300 gold over Forge, so not too surprised, I guess, with the kills that have been picked up, but that's the power of this Annie. We've also got Forge, who was able to pick up Seraph's Embrace as his second item. Rod of Age is not fully stacked, so he doesn't get that extra level just yet, but still, Forge able to match somewhat here, as I'll even say the same. Hery was able to get himself Jack Show, the protein shake up top side. Not that Sion really needs it. Dragon up in 15 seconds. Here we go. Let's fight. Let's have some Bomber. Let's have some class act. And Shanks seems to be the one who wants to bring class in with his flank angle.
Yeah, okay, good. He's going to go all the way around as well, knowing the obvious ward placements to come through. But Ultra Prime not opening themselves up to the flank just yet. They would have to wait quite a while. I don't know if they know exactly that this ward is here.
Hope to scale force forward. Okay, what a baller. Doggo now at half HP. Shanks angle. Waiting for that flash over the wall, but it's only SwordArt there. Doggo on the other side as Ning pulls his target there. The Wild Growth followed through, but Ning, as he ulties through, just takes a hell of a lot of burst damage. And Lyric, this time around, it's 2 members who get bursted down from Ultra Prime with very little committed from WE.
WE end up as the winners, but I think they would have loved to have way more in a fight at this point, right? This is when they're really going to start coming online and be strong with that Annie being at such a pivotal 2-item point. I mean, Heng being up over his opponent in Ning as well. Like, this would have been great to start snowballing. So I like that Ultra Prime, they get chunked a little bit and they start to back off. They don't go in too crazily. They know that they can keep playing, keep scaling, and wait to fight another day.
Is he caught? Let's see. It is Cassante. Has flash available. Could he use it as Hery ults in his general direction? Now with that flash out, Ultra Prime thinking about the Baron, but just walk past it instead. Shanks is on this bottom side. Seems a little bit too risky. So it is just going to be taking the summon spell from the top laner.
would have really been something if I'm praising for Ultra Prime for like knowing their limits and backing off, and then they just haphazardly start a Baron. I would have appreciated it, and I would have said that that was a very Ning SwordArt-esque play. Sadly, not yet. I do like, though, how right around the 20-minute mark, Doggo shot his rocket at the Baron, just knowing, hey, we're in the LPL. Like, teams randomly do this. We got to be ready. But, ooh, I don't know if Doggo's ready for this. Flash. Doggo. Right side of the turret is a death wish. Is he going to walk into it? No. I think they're kind of expecting that Addy's somewhere. Oh, there was a ward there. Oh. Okay, thank you, Observer. Wait, Ning, was that the play? Yes, he flashes over the wall. They get a summoner again. Ning going balls out again as Heng follows this one, but there's no action while Cube gets the turret. We just keep seeing these plays to force out summoners, but nothing else happens. I'm losing my mind. Yeah. No one ever able to connect. We just have so many meatballs in this meta. What do you do? What do you do?
Well, like you meatballs? Chill out. You tuck into bed. And you put your feet up. Honestly, has anyone ever played League of Legends from bed? What a great time. All you have to do is play Yuumi, or what else is another champion that really requires your toes? Milio's
requires your toes?
Yeah, you could play with your toes. Yuumi's one. I'm trying to think. Garen kind of. I think Garen requires a hell of a lot more skill than Yuumi.
I was gonna say, I feel like you would need quite a few toes to be able to do it. I mean, it depends. Do you mean play well or just play? Because like maybe you just have one of your toes over the Q button. You could play Blitzcrank.
True.
That's all you do.
Yeah, play a bit of Blitz. Yeah, aim with your other foot. Is Hery going to be flipped back here? Shanks angle again. Is it predictable? Says Ning as he drops a ward. Yes. Hery runs through the choke. Cube sitting mid. Okay, ulti. Little bit over ambitious, misses Heng. Meanwhile, this Cassante just chilling with the rest of them. Hery's ulti might hurt. His explosive cask is there. Cube doesn't have flash. Is he gonna die? No, he's shielded up. Ulti comes through. Okay, there we go. The all-out tries to get out. Doggo just gets a free kill. WE, do you know what you're doing?
No, and honestly, once again, I need to praise Ultra Prime because they're really thinking about all the ways W wants to play, and they're always conscious of the flank. Let's see if I just cursed it, and if they're ready for Shanks this time around.
Well, Hung's got to do quite a lot here. Onto Forge, he almost gets caught out, rooted up. There's the ulti as well. Shanks' angle is so good. Doggo and SwordArt burning down as he goes golden. You're right, you may have cursed them because Heng is getting reset after reset. The body slam, the heartbreaker to follow through. Doggo's next on the menu, boys. And just like that, WE finally pounds. They use that gold lead well. They've got themselves a free Baron with an Aphelios, as this looks to be back in their control.
Great play coming from Shanks, and a tragedy for Ultra Prime. Seriously, think about how well they've done to dodge this Annie at like all times, right? The mid lane turret, we're wondering with the Diving Raptors, they have the ward there, so you can play to the opposite side. Ning going and checking when he is trying to wrap around. Bot side River, the same thing. But one opening is all you need, and hell, that's why we question. Leaving over Milio, Cassante, Annie for the red side team. Huge tibbers going on to 3 members, forcing out the cleanse, forcing out the flash from Doggo, and that's the combo. You now open up for the Heartbreaker, the resets start coming through, and just look at Heng, even going to make his way right past the Scion to get on top of the Jinx, and that is all she wrote for Ultra Prime.
Well, now we're just back in the position that we kind of expected. Again, it was WE who took a massive gold lead and just kept accelerating
the whole time
through mid-jungle, and they have been, you're right. It's only been a couple of dragons, and as you said, a bit of skill from Ultra Prime, not only to get summoners, but to avoid the Annie, you were saying. So, Ultra Prime, I don't know if their lucks run out or their moments run out, but WE, we're back in that mid-game lyric. We've never really left. That 7,000 gold leads here. Dragons up again. At least Ultra Prime had delayed it, but for now, what do we get? There's a Heartbreaker out. Ultra Prime grouping up as 5. Cube this time is picking an angle.
And it's going to be all up to Q because so many important flashes down on the side of WE. Doggo also doesn't have summoners, but WE don't have a lot of great ways of getting to him other than Cube.
As Dragon going to be flipped here. Oh, it goes over to Doggo. The first time around this Ultra Prime of won a 50-50, it feels like, is looking for Forge, who body slams into nothingness. He has to flash away, but at least Ultra Prime got the Dragon Lyric. At least his team with an Enchanter and huge range on something like a Jinx has a bit more time.
True, and I mean, all they have to do is survive another 5 minutes, and then right out, you get to at least the 50-50 for the Dragon, even if WE are the team who will still have control because of the gold lead, because of the item advantages that they found. All you would then need is one lucky smite coming out from Ning or some big damage from Doggo. Would probably seal the deal in the game with that Infernal Soul.
Definitely would. WE, though, in the meantime, are looking to pressure through this mid, through the Baron they picked up before. This mid turret is still standing at 30 minutes in the game. If that doesn't tell you something about how Ultra Prime have held on, I don't know what will.
Again, the fact that they've been down like 5,000 to 8,000 gold for the past 15 minutes, but the game has been very much neutral, right? We've seen both teams posturing around mid. You know, maybe you send Shanks or Q to push out a side wave, and then someone else answers, and then back to the default around mid. I think it's one thing to understand your composition well, and you know, you can see that in the LPL teams who really know to play through their win condition. And then there's another to not only understand your composition, but know what the enemy is looking to do. So we've been seeing from both teams so far. It's been hard for WE to try to open up and kind of penetrate the defense that Ultra Prime have managed to put together. And now 3 items of the Jink, Bloodthirster in pocket. Definitely getting to that pivotal point of strength.
Yeah, BT going to be huge as well for Doggo when he already has a Lulu with Ardent Center. As guys, WE just got mid turret at 30 minutes in the game. We get excited for that, but more importantly, we get excited for the fact that we've got another big fight coming up with those items you mentioned, with the fact that Ultra Prime are getting into the late game territory. There's already been a hell of a lot of resistance with the gold lead, but we're getting to the point where gold is going to matter less and less and less and less. And at 2 minutes 50, we're going to see how much less it matters here. With that final Dragon, that will be sole point for Ultra Prime that WE know they have to fight. I just want to know, will the game change at all? Because now, Hery might be caught out. Does he have to ult? Does he have to flash? Big questions to raise. The answer is neither of them, as Baron's also run out Lyric, but they're still going to try and siege top.
I also want to point out here in the on LPL English, we have 3 biases. First, we are always biased to the team that has Mole. That goes for all of us. 2, we're biased to the underdog, which is Ultra Prime. And 3, whichever has the better Twitter account, which, you know, I don't think W really tweets that much in Ultra Prime.
They don't.
Hey, they tweeted at us earlier, though.
Oh, did they? The last time I saw them tweet was like 2016 before that, but you're right. They're getting better with the Twitter as...
It didn't exist.
I'm talking about WE. You said WE before. I'm like, man, WE's tweeting hasn't existed for ages. You're right. Ultra Prime do tweet at us and have recently. What was Ultra Prime before? This is not Dominus. This is not Sino Dragon, is it?
Ultra Prime were E-Star.
E-Star. And then, wait, no, E-Star was Sino Dragon, right?
No, I don't believe... Wait. You know, had you not started saying things, I probably could have gotten this down to a T, but E-Star were when we expanded... Yeah, E-Star are when LPL expanded the league. DMO, Sino Dragon is TT.
Right. It's accepted. Yeah, PDD was the one. It was his team, which Xiao Bai, by the way, was playing at the time, at least as a top laner. And now he's just coaching. But
we might need to wait, though. Look at Shanks. Look at Shanks.
I do.
Okay,
I do need...
that's what happened for now.
I'm just waiting for Heng, more importantly. He's got an angle yet again, but what does he do on the side? He's got GA. He's also got himself an explosive pot to pop. As WE trying to defend this one. Cube's coming in yet again. We have been A-ramming for a couple of years. Howling Abyss continues on our screen. And we're just waiting for that one influential fight.
Yeah, WE, I mean, W are trying their damnedest to find a flank, right? Heng trying to wrap around from one side, Shanks trying to wrap around from the top side. Ultra Prime still just not giving it to them, using things like their scrying wards behind them to make sure nothing comes through. I would say difference maker could be the fact that Hope has a stopwatch and Doggo doesn't. and like small things like that could really like turn in your favor. Shanks!
Oh my
Shanks!
God! We were waiting. We're like, dude, finally, let's do something. There's so much up on gold. And
That was out of
finally,
nowhere.
Shanks gets the angle to end it all, it feels like. Left in the middle is Hery. The rest of the team carried by the Pirate King in Shanks. Man, he taught Luffy well.
Yeah, oh my God. Perfect opportunity to come and find this. And now just going to be able to look for the end.
Off of that. Off of that. We have been sitting A-ramming for a while. We haven't been able to do anything, but all of a sudden, it's a 2-0. Shanks MVP again, brother. There ain't no way you're not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it, but I still just cannot believe how, like, it just looked like you were saying. We're going to A-ram, we're going to stare at each other, like Shanks and Heng are both trying to angle for the flank, but finding that out of nowhere, really only having a split second to be able to get the pick, and it's why we said this is the guy that WE have built around, despite having, you know, players like Hope, Lwandy, now even like Cube having a bit of like name value behind him. I still believe consistently Shanks has shown to be, you know, the top performing player on this roster, but now surrounded by players of his caliber, surrounded by up-and-coming talent like Heng, who, again, there might still be some things to work on, but this game was a great example showing of how he wants to dominate. He wants to be a